folks. Thanks for tuning into our channel. I'm Louis Starr, and here's my co-host, Bob Bylsma, and we're just two guys sitting talking cigars. This is where we come and we explore and seek to understand the culture and the enjoyment behind all things cigars. You know, we've had a lot of discussion in our early episodes, and we've talked a lot about things from the beginning of the cigar culture to where we are today. And the topic for today is singles, samples, or boxes. Which one do you buy? When do you buy them? Where do you buy them? And how do you go about doing that? You know, there's a lot of information that's out there that you can read about, and there's a lot of information you can ask some friends about. But we're coming to you to give you our take on the things that drive that particular purchasing habit. And so I have my take on it, Bob has his, and hopefully the information you get today will help you make an informed decision about how you should approach your purchasing of cigars, from the novice to the self-proclaimed cigar aficionado. I myself, I'm just an ambassador for cigars. That's my title. But, you know, it's been a lot of years. I've been smoking for quite some time, and I don't profess to know everything about cigars, which is why we're doing what we're doing. We're continuing to explore and build our knowledge base on all things cigars. So Bob, as a cigar smoker, when you go out, what's your purchasing habit? Why do you do what you do when you do it?
Well, I think my purchasing habit may be different than other people's, because I, over the years, have developed my palate.
Right.
And I have smoked literally, as you have,
yeah,
hundreds and hundreds of different cigars.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to discern what my palate is.
Right.
I also have a rather extensive cigar rotation. So whereas I may buy a box of something, I'm not going to buy a box of something the first time I smoke a cigar.
Okay.
And in recent history, I did that once and was quite disappointed. What I will normally do, if I'm going into a lounge and I don't have cigars with me, I'll normally buy a stick to smoke there and maybe some to smoke along the way.
Right.
When I leave. But generally anymore, what I like to do is to go into shops and find something that I haven't smoked. And particularly if you're in different parts of the country, you'll find regional cigars that you don't find here.
Right.
And so I like to try new things. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's about trying new things. For a lot of smokers, it's trying to ascertain what their palate really is. And so if you're a relatively new cigar smoker, the best thing to do is to go into your local brick and mortar shop, talk to your tobacconist, get something, get a stick on the light end,
right,
on the medium end, on the bold end, and find out what you like. You know, what fits your flavor better, or what range fits your flavor better,
right,
and then work from there. But again, I would continue until you really understand your palate and have really a rotation of cigars. I wouldn't buy a box. We can talk. I think samples are a different category. We can talk about those separately. But that's kind of my view of the world, and what I do. So yeah, I'll go in and find a stick. Often it'll be something I've smoked before,
right,
but I'm not trying to accumulate cigars at that point.
Okay, and I have a similar but yet different view of it, because if you're a novice, you're just starting out, beware of your friends that want to put you into a full body cigar and you're just starting to smoke. What will happen, folks, is you might get a little nauseated from the cigar smoke. You may not know enough about not to inhale, and you get some of that cigar smoke into your lungs. That's going to turn you green. And your friends did that because they wanted to see you turn green. They said, we're going to give him something that we know is not in his wheelhouse. There's some full-body cigars. I've had a few that, even as a seasoned cigar smoker, I know I need to eat a meal before I smoke that cigar. Smoking it on an empty stomach, not a good idea. But as you're developing your palate, if you're starting out new, I would suggest for most people, start with something in the light, in a Connecticut wrapper, in a lighter, milder cigar. Even go medium if you can stretch it that far. It depends on your tolerance level for the strength of the cigar. However, yes, I do agree. Go with the three different elements. You got your mild, your medium, and your bold, your full body cigar, and start to develop that palate. And then you'll know, well, this is where I'm at, but now try some other brands with the same strength and see if you like those brands in that strength, because you know that varies as well.
Well, let me ask you this question. So, since I should try something mild
Mm-hmm.
and medium
Right.
and bold, what about a sample pack? They give me everything.
Well, glad you asked. Yeah, a sample pack. If you don't get the assistance from a tobacconist to point you in the right direction for a sample pack, you can also build your own, and you can build your own with that same selection process. Knowing that a full body cigar is probably not where you want to be, you can just do a couple of different brands, if you will, from a mild to medium, or all in that same brand, but different line within the brand, because you know you'll find that too. There are many options there. Or if you really want to venture out, do the mild, medium to full body, and if that's what you get, you might want to wait and remember, before you light that full body cigar, eat a meal. That will help. And if you can't handle it, there's no harm in putting it down, folks. Just, it's not for you. You're not ready for it. You haven't developed your palate to that point yet. Put it down. We don't want anybody to get sick from smoking a cigar. We want you to enjoy this like we do.
Or maybe you just don't like it.
Or maybe you just don't like it. Maybe there's some folks that I know of that never go outside of that range. They're mild to medium. They never go to a full body cigar. And there's no judgment on my part, because that's not where they're at. They like the mild to medium, and they're going to stay there, and they stay in their lane. You give them a full body cigar, it's not going to be something they're going to really want to accept. Although they might, but they probably want to gifting it to someone else.
And it's about, the hobby is about enjoyment.
Yeah.
So smoke something you enjoy.
Smoke something.
There are a lot of different sample packs that are out there.
Right.
You can build your own, like you said.
Right.
You have some lines that will give you essentially all of the strengths in their lines.
Right.
There are others where some distributor will try to put a sample pack together where things are of the same strength.
Right.
And then you get 5 packs or 10 packs, things like that. One caution I would say, whatever you're smoking, whether you're doing it through a sample pack or a single, don't make assumptions that if you like it in a Robusto,
Right.
that you're going to like it in a Lancero.
That's a fair statement.
And because they can smoke completely different. I've told you stories about Perfectos that I smoked, and I went to and I loved, and I went to a Robusto and I really couldn't stand it. So don't make those kind of generalizations.
Right.
But there are other sample packs where you can get, I don't know, 50, 75 cigars all over the place.
Yeah.
The risk you run with that is often those are super discounted sticks, so
Yeah.
you're not really necessarily getting quality
Right.
in that. And so I think, particularly if you don't have a brick and mortar shop, I would probably try to build my own sampler if I was going to do that,
Right.
to try to find out where my flavor profile is. Or if you just want to try something new, you think I'm kind of at a place where I just like to add something new, and so I'm going to add some different sticks to that. Go online, do your research.
Yeah.
Know what you're looking for. There's enough information out there relating to the particular sticks that are in those sample packs,
Right.
that you can see if they're mild, medium, or full strength.
Yeah.
And just do a little bit of research. It doesn't take a lot of time, and put your sample pack together that way if that's what you want to do.
Okay. And now I'm at the point where I'm ready to buy a box. Should I?
Well, how many cigars do you have?
Well, it's about storage, right? I mean, if I buy a box and all I have is a tabletop, chances are that box is going to be enough to fill up at least half if it's a 20 count box. If it's a 10 count box, not so much. But if it's 20 count, that's going to fill up depending on the capacity of my tabletop, it's going to fill up half that box. Now, if I want something else, that's it for me. I'm at 2 boxes, 20 counts. I got 40 cigars. I can't go anywhere else. And now I've gone out with friends and I just tried a brand new cigar and I think I want to buy a box of this. Well, prior to the advent of all these baggies and other stuff that we have and Tupperdoors, when I started, I had a tabletop. I bought a box, filled up my humidor, and had nowhere else to go.
Sounds like it was time to buy a bigger
humidor. Oh, another tabletop, if we can talk about that. It's like, how many tabletop humidors do you have? Well, I got 3, but that's because I refuse to get rid of any of them. But you grow from there, and it's about storage at that point when you buy a box.
Yeah, well, we now have cabinet humidors, so we don't worry about that.
Not so much.
Although I'm pretty much at capacity between that and baggies and tabletop humidors.
Yeah.
For me, I think there are a couple of things that factor into it. One is I want to make sure I have a rotation before I start buying boxes of things, and the reason is I bought early on. I bought boxes of things. And I got tired of the cigar because I wasn't smoking anything else. I think variety is kind of the spice of life.
Yeah, it is.
Now, we know people who will go in and buy 100-count boxes of cigars. They will smoke their way through that, and they will go buy the same thing over and over again. That's not me.
No.
And I don't think that's most cigar smokers.
No.
So I would make sure I have a variety of cigars before I go in and buy a box. Storage definitely plays into it. The other thing I would caution against, though, is making assumptions based on smoking one cigar, because all cigars within that particular line are not necessarily created equal. I think of a cigar you and I were reviewing at one point. Mine had every construction issue known under the sun.
Right.
Yours didn't. Yours was just fine, and you'll find bad sticks within boxes.
Yes, you will.
And so you have that. I would I'd smoke a couple of the sticks before I ever decided to buy a box, because what day you're smoking on, what the weather's like, what you're pairing it with, all of those things can make a difference in how you experience that cigar. So I'd smoke 2 or 3 at the very least before deciding to buy a box.
Yeah, but always know too what you said earlier. You're going to get 1 or 2 sticks that vary from the entire box itself. I've had that happen on a 10 or 20 count. I bought a half wheel, full wheel. Every cigar was not the same. And then the longer you keep the cigars, well, that can change too, because they may age and get stronger, or they may age and get weaker. There's a couple of brands out there that I won't mention that the longer you keep them, the weaker they get. And you may have enjoyed it enough where you say, oh man, I enjoyed that cigar so much, I got to get a box. And then you get a box and you sit on it, and a year later, it's not the same cigar anymore. It's not that it got bad, it's just not giving you the same flavor profile you had when you first lit it. There are some that you can go out and buy and then realize, oh, this is a little bit stronger. And we've seen them, especially the ones that come in cellophane. And everybody gets wild by it. They look at the cellophane and see all the coloration on the cellophane and say, ooh, this really looks good. It's gotten stronger and better. Well, not necessarily. All the oils and stuff out of that wrapper just got absorbed into the cellophane. Yeah. It didn't affect the cigar to make it better. It is what it is from you holding it for so long in your humidor. I find storage sometimes to be a challenge when I have boxes even in my cabinet, because I have to make sure that I place them strategically throughout the humidor so they don't block any of the airflow from my humidification. But then if I want to put, which I happen to be fortunate with my cabinet, I have drawers and I have shelves where I can really move stuff around, and the maintenance of all of that is what plays into my taking care of my cigars. Is that now I know I need to start moving stuff around. What happens in a brick and mortar, in some anyway, that I don't see, is that on that top level, if it's getting all the humidification in your box, the bottom level may not. And so you need to turn your inventory, right? Mm-hmm. But that's when you start to buy boxes. I do a little bit of all 3. I'll go out, and if I want to try something new, I'll buy a stick, smoke that for a while, see if I like it. then I might get a sample pack, but it depends on if I enjoyed that cigar or not. But chances are, if I enjoyed it enough, I'm going to place an order, either with my tobacconist or get it at a reputable online distributor, and I'm getting a box. But you know, it all depends on your personal preference and your budget, and that's something else we can talk about, the budget.
That's a topic in and of
In
itself.
So, you know, we talked enough about singles, samples, boxes. Try before you buy, folks. That's always a good caveat. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to it where it doesn't work for you, but these are just hints for you to make an informed decision about going out, trying something new, stepping out of your comfort zone too, I would say, Bob. It's like if you like a particular brand and that line and that's all you know, there's so many great cigars out there for you to try. So we want to thank you again, guys, for just tuning into our channel. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and drop us a line and like our page. I'm Louis Starr, this is Bob Bylsma, and we're just two guys smoking.